those who went the whole way through, it is one thing to hear it, it's the next thing to see it. When you stand there at where the water level is now and you look up to where it's supposed to be, you understand the deficit of water that we are talking about. When we got off the lift and you understand that the last time Dr. John and those went down, they swam from that point. When we had to go down 15 feet to hit dry and then walk out and go down a bit further to get to the water, lets you understand, if you contemplate that 20 feet of water spread over the length of the cave or the cavern, that should start to send home to you the volumes of water that we are talking about. The other thing as well is that every time the rain falls, people call the calling programs and they say, the rain is falling, why is my water still off? Or when the rain was falling for the 3 days, I had more water in the pipe. Now the rain has stopped falling, my water pressure is low. And people need to understand something. There are a number of factors at play. As Dr. John indicated, it normally takes 90 days for the water that hits the surface of the earth to get through into our aquifer. Sometimes if there's excessive rainfall and flooding, it might find fish with a direct connection into the aquifer, but in a normal filtration scheme of things, it takes 90 days. So when you see the rain falling, the impact of that rain is generally not going to be felt for a couple of months. The other thing that I'm trying to press home to people is one of the largest consumers of our water in Barbados is the agricultural sector. Obviously, when the rain is falling, the farmers are not irrigating their crops. So if they're not irrigating their crops, then that water is available now for domestic consumption. So it's not being drawn off, so people who are not accustomed to getting water are getting, or people who are accustomed to getting are getting at a higher pressure because that water is in the pipe. So it is important that people get the connection. Because the rain is falling does not mean that your water outages are going to be cured tomorrow or the next day. It is quite complex. I need help now from the media to help carry this message home. You have seen yourself the disparity in where the water is supposed to be now and where it is now. It is not business as usual. We need to curb the way that we use water. We need to start looking at water differently. Water is like the new oil. So we need to stop wasting water. We need to follow the water authorities' tips. I feel the pain of the people in the northern parishes, the parishes at higher elevation, that are complaining, that are feeling the brunt of this. Dr. John explained it. We need to conserve the water we are using so they can get some. But to answer the question that you asked about desal, yes, desal has to be a part of our planning going forward. The Water Authority itself is looking to install 2 temporary packaged desal plants, a saltwater desal plant and a brackish water desal plant. And we're also engaged in conversations with persons with the supply of industrial desal. Never was it our position that desal is not going to be a part of our solution. The only way to actually guarantee you have a steady supply completely without reference to anything else is actually to pull the water from the sea. So it does form a part of our plan, but it has to be a part of our plan that makes sense. Desal is the most expensive form of water that we can get. If Barbadians were willing to pay the economic cost of pulling the water, whether it be out of the ground or whether it be from a desal source, then our problems would disappear. But our water is already among the lowest in the world. Among the lowest cost in the world. If we had to actually charge Bajans the true economic cost of pulling that water out of the ground or getting it from desal, Bajans would take a mistake. Right? So we have to balance. I mean, it's a political issue. We have to balance the politics of it along with our social responsibility. Nobody's supposed to be denied water. So we have to be able to subsidize the cost of water so even the most vulnerable can have access to water. So it's a serious juggling act. What we will not do is enter into contracts that make no sense, that we cannot afford to pay for.